secrets. Children have their own secrets, big people have their own secrets. Now, secret means something we keep exclusively for us. No, yes, we have in mind when we hear the word secret, we know yes, it should not be shared with many, exclusively with very few people. If it is some family secret, no, our parents or elders or grandparents tell us, yes, it should be only in our home surroundings, not with everyone. No, we don't share about our home to somebody else. Same way, when we are friends, we have little small secrets. No, whether it can be naughty ones and it can be a good ones also. No, study matters or whatever it is. So we keep among in the circle of few. Same thing nowadays, we'll find young boys or girls, they have their own secrets. No, secrets sometimes is good and at the same time it can be bad also. Anyway, that is not mainly of our concern over here, but here we have taken this lesson from the secret garden. Now, some secret is there from the this particular lesson. Mary finds, or Mary wants to find that is secret garden's secret. So that is what here we are going to see during this explanation of this lesson. So we have, as a warm-up part, we have asking questions. Do you live in a house with a garden? So nowadays, in the you see most of the people living in not very much wide areas. No, they have, sometimes most of them are living in apartments or with a little surroundings. But if you see, every house have a small garden. Sometimes it is on the terrace or sometimes on the balcony, whatever it is, they try to keep a few flower plants or the flower pots, because we know that the plants gives us good means good surroundings. Now it helps us or gives a what is that called, fresh air. So all these, because of this, the environment to clean, all these things we require plants. So here, what here is telling, in the olden times in England or in the foreign countries, people were and having, or when things were like properties were belonging to them in a vast area. They have a big mansion, big bungalows, and surrounded by orchard, plant trees, fruit trees, and so many things. So here we have the story about Mary's uncle named Craven. Mr. Craven had a secret garden, and from thereafter we'll see what when we are going to explain this lesson. Now, if you sow, you are lucky, though today people try to keep gardens in apartments and complexes. There are many kinds of gardens, from small residential ones to large public spaces with ornamental trees and flowers, fountains, ponds, and waterfalls. Means to say, nowadays even every cities, whether it is small or big, for the public visit or public entertainment, or like park, gardens, all these are available at present time. And all these are like a pastime for us, no? Just a pastime. Sundays we go along with our parents and sit there and enjoy few moments. So one of the garden, like the Mughal garden in New Delhi, no, it's a very famous one. And in month of January or February, there is a flower show, and thousands of people visit that place, not only of Indians, even foreigners. And New Delhi are famous for their layout and beautiful flowers. Describe a public garden you have visited. And if at all you have visited any garden in any time, so asking you to describe it. So take a book and just to describe, yes, I went with my parents to such and garden situated in such a state or such a city. So just explain what was your feelings and what was your experience, what did you see over there. Okay, that's for your warm-up session. Now we have the reading. Quickly we will go through. We have the first one, The Secret Garden by, please take the book page 95 and follow along with me. The Secret Garden by Francis Godson Burnett tells the story of Mary Lennox, a 10-year-old girl who lived in India. So Mary was living in India, and the story goes after the death of her parents. Further we read, when her parents died, she is sent to England to live with her uncle, whom she has never met. So after the death of her parents, some circumstances, her parents died, and from there she must have been left alone. So her uncle, one who was living in England, took her to that side to bring her up. Mary is rude and selfish, and at first she finds it difficult to settle down in her new home. So as a young girl, going from all of a sudden going from one place, one situation, or one background, or from one country to another country, it's very difficult to adjust. So, and Mary, all the more, she was very selfish and very, very rude. No, she was not a very gentle, very angry person. So it was very difficult for her to adjust to that situation. Mary later becomes a different person, but as the days passed ahead, she became a different person. Now let's see the lesson. It is starting from in between the excerpt. It is taken from one passage from the complete Secret Garden. We don't have the complete one, neither the beginning nor the ending. So taken from one part of the one passage is taken. In this excerpt from the Secret Garden, Mary is curious about a mysterious place, unknown place, something very secret place. Now, the conversation between the servant and Mary. You wrap up warm and run out and play, you, said Martha. Martha is a servant in Mr. Craven's house. And this girl, after reaching England, she was kept on living inside the room. So she says, this servant says, you better cover yourself, and it was in winter season, cover yourself and run out, so you will get a better experience. Mary went to the window. There were gardens and paths and big trees. Perhaps she would go and see what the garden were like. So she liked it. She just went to near the window and she saw all the garden and path, all these things. If thou goes around that way, thou come to the gardens. Means tha, T-H-A, tha is like thou, you. It is meaning is you. The servant is telling, it is better for you go out and that way and just take a round. It will for you. You will feel better. Martha said, pointing to a gate in a wall of shrubbery. Shrubbery means a place in garden where many shrubs are planted. Garden means we can imagine there will be many things. She seemed to hesitate. She paused. Now, after explaining that, she said, she just paused and she said, before adding, one of the gardens is locked up. She said, one of the gardens, there are many gardens, but she said, one of the garden is locked up. No one has been in it for 10 years. Since 10 years, that garden is closed and nobody can get inside. Why? Asked Mary. Now, Mary is curious. Mr. Craven had it shut when his wife died so sudden. So Mr. Craven was living alone. His wife died earlier from 10 years ago, and from that moment it belongs to his wife. So he had completely closed it. He won't let no one go inside. It was her garden. He locked the door and dug a hole and buried the key. So what she did, he locked that time and buried the key. He made a hole and she put the key and buried it. After she was gone, Mary turned down the walk which led to the door in the shrubbery. So what happened after saying this? So Martha went away. Then she just led to the door to the shrubbery. She went near the door where the opening was there. She could not help thinking about the sacred garden. Now she is very much curious about what Martha said. There is a sacred garden. When she walked into the orchard, she saw a robin with his bright red breast sitting on the topmost branch of one of the trees on the other side of the ivy-covered wall. Now, as she walked outside in the orchard is a piece of land completely filled with the fruit trees, fruit garden. And she was rowing. She saw a robin, a bird famous in England, with red breast, robin breasthood, like that. It is known as red breast. With this bright red breast sitting on the topmost branch of one of the trees in the other side of the ivy-covered wall. So ivy is a climber plant. Suddenly, he burst into his winter song, almost as if had caught sight of her and was calling to her. She listened to him until he flew away. So it was making like no chattering sound. No, it is melodiously making or some kind of singing it was making, and till it, and she kept on watching it. She listened till that when a bird flew away from there. He has flown into the garden where there is no door. Now, that particular garden where Martha said it is a secret garden, where he went and remained there. Mary cried out, watching him. So, just she was making noise, not trying to get the attention. I should like to see the garden, thought Mary. Mary inside of her, she thought, yes, she want to see the garden. Where is the door? Now, she was saying inside, at the same time she was conveying the message to the robin and the bird also. There must be a door somewhere. So she was thinking into herself, yes, there must be a door somewhere there. And we all know that no garden can be without a door. So this was going on, ringing into her mind. She said, yes, there is somewhere some door will be there. I wish to see, I want to see the garden. That was her like curiosity. She wanted, since it is told it is close, she was very curious to know. So I stop here the first part. I'll come with the next part in the next session or next class. Please go through the lesson. I have already told you, write the word meanings, draw a nice picture, whichever you prefer, no beautiful picture. Take a time and draw it and underline the difficult words so that you can have a better reading. Please read many times. Reading practice till you get the next class. Thank you.